guys, here with another video. I wanted to tackle this topic on cologne and what are some things you should look out for, what are some things you should do, and why you should wear cologne. So I have an assortment of topics and I'm just going to go over them. Nothing pre-written. I'm just going to read the topic and then I'm going to give my opinion on it and let you guys know what I think. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Cologne is a representation of who you are. You should think of cologne as an accessory, as a good way of making a first impression on someone. We often think that a certain clothing item, shoes, or even hair is the first thing people notice when you enter their space, but really it's your scent. And we're primitive animals whether we like it or not, and smell has been incredibly important to our survival. And if you think about it, a certain smell can remind you of memories, times, places. Many different things can be associated to a certain smell. And because of that, we all end up having different tastes, different desires, different things we like when it comes to fragrances, because we're all very different, understandably. So for me, the reason why I think you should wear cologne is because you will make a good impression on other people, and not only that, but it will help you feel better about yourself. It will be like an extension of who you are. So that is, in my opinion, why you should wear cologne. That question is kind of hard to answer because it really all depends, number one, on what you like, number two, on where you live, and number three, like where you work, what you do, who you are. The best thing I could recommend you do is actually go to stores like Macy's, Sephora, Nordstrom, Barney's, and just sample fragrances. If you can't sample them, at least smell something. That way you get a good idea as to what you like. Even if you don't want to smell a whole bunch of fragrances, just smell some different ones. Like say, smell a fragrance that is sweet, smell a fragrance that's sour, smell a fragrance that's green, smell a fragrance that's fresh, smell a fragrance that's not fresh. Just smell as much variety as you can. Don't just smell a whole bunch of fresh fragrances and then make a decision on that, because you never know what you're missing. One of the things you're going to want to do, depending on the season, you're going to want to wear your heavier scents in the fall and winter, and you're going to want to wear your lighter scents in the spring and summer. Of course, this depends on where you are. Some places are hot all year round, and if you're in a climate where the temperature doesn't get below 60 degrees Fahrenheit during the fall and winter, yeah, I mean, you're pretty much going to have to stick to the lighter scents or the more aquatic, fresh scents, the ones that don't get cloying in the heat. So, I mean, again, it really all just depends on what you like, where you are, and who you are. So, shop around and shop wisely. Generally speaking, you're going to want to stick to about a maximum of 6 sprays with most fragrances. Some fragrances you can get away with a little bit more, some of them you cannot get away with more than 2 or 3. It just all depends on what you're wearing, because you do get nose fatigue, and if you have just one scent, you're going to become used to it. So it's important for you to ask other people if they can smell you and how strong you are. Just keep in mind that generally speaking with cologne, less is almost always more. Well, most people would advise you to stick to your hot points, like your elbows, your wrist, your neck, the side of your neck, your chest. And I would generally agree with that, but the problem I have with spraying on my wrist is that my wrists, they tend to burn up fragrances and they make them last like crap. The longevity just goes to crap when I spray on my wrists. So what I do is I spray on my forearms, and I really don't have to worry about it. Also, one of the reasons why you really don't want to spray on your wrists is, number one, if you have an office job and you're constantly putting your wrist like this when you're typing, it's going to rub off the scent on the desk. Also, if you wash your hands, it's going to rub off the scent on your hands, because when you do this, a little bit of water, a little bit of the paper towel when you're drying it is going to get on it, and you're basically just reducing the longevity of your scent. So, in my opinion, this is what you should do. If you spray on your wrist, spray on your forearms. That way you don't have to worry about it. If you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, then you don't really need to spray on your wrist or your forearms, because it's going to be covered up. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of people, the way they are, they would make you think you need to spend $100, $200, $300 on a scent just to smell good, but that's really not the case. There are plenty of scents under $100 that smell just as good as those that are $300. There are plenty of scents that are under $40, hell, even $20 that smell just as good as those that are $400. You don't really need to spend more than $40 to get a really good scent that you're gonna love. The problem though is when you start to spend less than $40, it becomes incredibly hard to sample fragrances because no department store are going to carry cheapies like that. So, you know, well, at least cheapies that you could sample. TJ Maxx is a great place to get cheapies. Marshall's, Kohl's. Kohl's occasionally has scents on clearance. But, you know, generally you're not going to be able to smell these before you buy them. So do some research. Like I talked about earlier, olfactory fatigue, where your nose gets tired of a certain scent and can't smell it anymore, is an actual true thing. And if you have more than one scent, chances are you're not really going to suffer from that. You're going to be able to smell your scent after you apply it, which obviously is important. You're generally going to want to have at least 3, I think. I think 3 to 5 fragrances for different occasions is a good balance, and that's definitely something you should be able to obtain and work with. So definitely, yeah, you should have more than one fragrance. There are certain things that, in my opinion, need to be done in order to maximize the longevity and projection of a scent. The first thing you need to do, and you need to do this, you need to bathe daily. Not every other day, not every week, not every 2 weeks. You need to bathe daily. Preferably twice a day. Because what happens is if you don't bathe every day, say you bathe today and you don't bathe tomorrow. Tomorrow when you wake up, your skin is going to have oil, dirt, and grime. And when you put on a fragrance, basically you're mixing it with all that oil, all that dirt, all that grime. And the aroma you're going to produce is not going to be pleasant. Let me guarantee you that. You need to bathe daily. Take a shower every day. Make sure you're nice and clean. Make sure your skin is nice and clean. Another thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your skin is moisturized. The problem with dry skin is that when you spray a cologne on there, basically what you're doing is you're giving oil to skin that's already depleted of it, that's dry, that has no oil, that has no moisture. And what's going to happen is your skin is going to suck up all that fragrance oil that produces the smell that you like, and it's going to reduce the longevity, it's going to reduce the projection, and you're just basically not going to get the full effect of the fragrance if you don't keep your skin moisturized. You can go to your department store, I mean, you can go to a local drugstore, you go to a grocery store, you can go to Family Dollar, hell, you can go to Dollar Tree if you wanted to, and get a lotion. Just make sure that whatever you get, it's unscented. I recommend Aveeno, Lubriderm. I love Lubriderm. There's Vaseline Advanced Therapy. I've used that before. That's a very good one. A cheapie at Dollar Tree would be Dermasil. Their lotion is actually pretty good. And, you know, just make sure your skin is moisturized and you will get the full effect of whatever fragrance you're wearing. Another tip I found, actually, and this is a very cheap way to increase the projection and longevity, the performance of whatever you're wearing, is to use coconut oil. You know, you may or may not have heard about coconut oil. It's like the latest craze in the health community. Everybody loves coconut oil. Many health benefits have been found from using coconut oil. It's very cheap. It's very affordable. I paid like $6 for a big tub of it at Walmart. And what I like to do and what I recommend doing if you're having problems with longevity and you moisturize your skin and everything is just put a little bit, like where you spray, just put a little bit of coconut oil, you know, and spray it, and you will notice, at least I do, that it will stay oily. Like the spot that you sprayed, it will stay like wetter for a much longer time. So your skin is essentially not sucking in that oil because you already have oil on your skin, and it's making it last longer. So that's a tip. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.